We are back. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks, post-Christmas edition. Hope you had a fantastic holiday. Hope your hearts and your bellies are full and your family as well. And let's get to talking some Battle of Alberta. Oilers with a 2-1 win over the Calgary Flames. They grab a couple of points, but did they leave something on the ice in Calgary last night? We are definitely going to discuss that and much more on today's podcast. Brought to you, as always, by Mr. Dirk, located just off White Avenue on 102nd Street. They're your one-stop shop for all your clothing needs. If you're a businessman and you want to look sharp at your next meeting or just make the statement that you're on top of your game, they got a wide array of fantastic suits, shirts, ties, shoes, everything you need. They got tons of great casual wear as well. Jeans, pants, shirts, sweaters. Mr. Dirk is a great place for quality clothing of all types. I was there over the break. Got a brand new suit on the way. Looking forward to it. As we say, good morning and hello to the fellas. Chris Sabunia, Zuby in Kelowna, and Jason Strudwick. Zuby, so we're taping this at 5:40 a.m. your time, and the first thing I saw when I logged on was you crushing what appeared to be a piece of pizza. Is everything okay?
Everything's great. Yeah, that's exactly. Well, it's not January 1st yet. So truthfully, I saw we had pizza here with the fam, my parents visiting, and had an easy dinner with the kids and everything last night. But no joke, I saw a thing in one of my social media feeds, a headline. I did not read the article that said a piece of pizza is probably healthier than the breakfast you're having. And I said, done. I did not need to read the article. And it's just one piece.
Struds, you're the health nut here.
Yeah,
I think the key word in that thing is probably. I think that's the key word. I've never heard that. I was a pretty fitnessy guy for a number of years. I never, you know what, buddy, have some pizza at 5:45. Yeah. That'll make it good. Now, if you're coming off a night, like you're still up at 5:45, that's different. But to wake up and embrace a nice slice of za, I'm not sure that's really probably
and convince yourself. Convince yourself that you're making a healthy choice. I love that. Like, that is an article I'm not going to read. I don't want to read that and debunk it. I'm just taking that idea and running. Exactly. How's everybody's Christmas?
It's veggie.
Yeah, there you go. That's very, very healthy options at 5:40 a.m. Struddy, what happened with you, man? Your Christmas got messy, hey? Flights and such?
Yeah, I'm supposed to be in Denver right now, or actually just out in Wyoming. And unfortunately, my wife and the boys got out earlier than last week. My daughter and I were supposed to fly out at 6 a.m. last Friday. We got there at 3 a.m. Flight canceled, and they could get us out on the 28th, which would be, I'm guessing, tomorrow. Or is it today? It's today. I could have flown to Denver today. Yeah. So, and then I would just got on the next plane and flown right home. So, so my daughter and I spent some quality time. It's almost, 8, 9, 10 days together. We were my parents. There's still lots to do. It wasn't like we were, by ourselves on an island. So there's worse things. There's people that had a lot worse, including Alan Walsh's client. I mean, that poor guy, a 6 overall pick, a Czech player, couldn't get his skates to Halifax. I mean, we should have stopped the world to find a 6 overall pick. Alan Walsh is just so dramatic. God, I hope he and his family are okay. They're not suffering like so many people who actually couldn't get home for Christmas or were stuck in Nisku at a hotel like I saw Friday morning. But Alan Walsh, I hope you got it sorted out for your 6 overall pick.
He circled around and thanked was it Air Canada for the great diligence that they did after the fact. Now, you wouldn't like that if you were a player. You wouldn't want your agent backing you like that on social media?
I would be embarrassed. Like it took all the strength I had not to tweet at Alan Walsh. It was so embarrassing. Like, his 6 overall person's more important than Jimmy trying to get home from Fort McMurray to his parents for Christmas so his kids don't see him. But this guy has custom skates. Oh, everyone's got custom skates. Like, I was so pissed off. That guy, oh my God, I could not believe it. I'd be embarrassed. I would literally I might fire my agent over that. Say, you're done. Your 6 overall pick is gone.
Yeah. Well, remember, I mean, this is Alan Walsh. This is the way he rolls. He's not afraid to use social media to be loud in support of his clients. I guess a certain player would like that, and a certain former player
tone deaf. He wasn't in the airport. So I was with her that night. There was a lady trying to get to Corpus Christi, Texas. She'd worked in Edmonton from Monday to Thursday. And that guy at 3:30 in the morning was telling her she couldn't get home for Christmas, and she had to spend it at the Nisku Inn for 4 nights. I think that is a little more serious than the 6th overall pick that couldn't get home or couldn't get his skates to the thing. I was never cheered so hard against a player or a team as the Czech. And when they beat Canada, I was just devastated. I wanted them to get that guy to be -5 and just suck. God, I was just still fired up. 6 in the morning, I'm pissed off still about it.
Yeah.
God,
well, listen,
so tone deaf.
Yeah, your family went through some stuff at Christmas. I had a brother whose family got stuck. Now, this is not complaining. They got stuck in Mexico. So they ended up with an extra 3 days at their resort in Mexico, and Sunwing wasn't able to get them home. They had to book on a completely different airline to get themselves home. Zuby, I got a brother that got stuck in Kelowna there with you, couldn't get on the flight they sat on their flight till 2 a.m., only to be told that the pilots timed out and they sent everybody home. Basically had to cancel their trip because their flight the next day got canceled. So it's happening all over the place. Everybody's got, in various ways, has been affected by it. But at the end of the day, you make do, right, Struddy? You made do with your daughter. And lots of people out there had to make do with tough situations. Hey, Zoobs, how was it with your little crew?
We did good. My parents came in from Edmonton, and they came in on, I can't even remember, on the 20th, I think. But it doesn't matter. The point is all the flights the day before were canceled.
Yeah.
And most of them the day after. So they just came in on the day. They ended up being delayed by a few hours. Looked like they were going to be right on time. But that was kind of the only air travel we had to deal with. And all in all, it went well. And Struds, I wish you had chirped that guy on Twitter, just because I have to say my favorite part of when I'm looking at Twitter and my feed's just not super active, and I'll see someone's tweet that I'm like, who the heck is this person? Why is this in my feed? And it's like, oh, Struds replied, Struds chirped. Struds said somebody to this guy,
got into the
and
fray.
it's in my feed. So
I was so holding on. But the best part was he's a 6th overall pick to the Columbus Blue Jack. Oh my God! Stop the world! Stop the world! We have to solve this. God, it just so tone deaf. It's unbelievable.
All right. Sorry, I had to bring it back. I had to bring it back.
-10 from now on. God, I'll never cheer for that player ever.
Okay, we got a game to talk about last night. The Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers winning the Battle of Alberta. By the way, we are going to talk about the MacKenzie Weegar knee on Connor McDavid, and we're going to talk a lot about it. In fact, we're going to give it its own segment. That's going to be our second segment of the program today. So we're going to dive into that in our takeaways segment. But we got lots to talk about from the game as well. So let's get to the breakdown, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. They supply some of the nicest maintenance-free fencing and decking products out there. If you've always had that wood fence in your backyard and it's getting a little sketchy and it's time for a change, it's been on your mind, you've been thinking about it, knowing I got to make that switch, we'll give some serious thought to going maintenance-free with DLR Vinyl. No more sanding, no more staining. You put it in, you don't have to upkeep it at all. It looks amazing the day it goes in, and it stays that way for a long, long time. It's better product, flat out. DLR Vinyl has locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. So give my brothers Rick or Rob a shout. Okay, a 2-1 win for the Oilers in their return matchup against the Calgary Flames. Struds, and I want to set it up and make people sort of understand what the Oilers would go through coming out of the break. So they come out of that 3-day break, and they didn't practice in Edmonton the day before. They basically just arrived. They got to get on a flight the next day to Calgary, which ended up being delayed. So you're traveling in same day after 3 days off, delayed flight, morning skate, then you got to play a game. So Struddy, what did you think given the travel issues and the break and all of that? What do players go through? What do you think of what they brought last night?
Well, first off, if Alan Walsh had been the team owner, he would have tweeted that the flight should not have been delayed and he would have got them there on time. So unfortunately, he's not, and maybe that'll change. But no, it's a tough turnaround. On the broadcast, they mentioned that the Flames players got together and skated on the 26th. And it's hard. I know people are going to say, they're professional, have to be ready, but you don't feel good. I remember I hated those games after Christmas. No matter how hard you skated, the morning skate, you felt like dog's breakfast when the game time came. And I thought we saw that early in the game. And for the most part, I didn't really think the Oilers had their legs. I thought the Flames had their legs way better. And I do think that practice they had the day before, now it wasn't coach-led, that was player-led. But I thought the day before it showed that the Oilers were more ready the Flames they had their legs under them more than the Oilers. But it's really hard. It's a hard turnaround. You get up, you got to fly, you get there, you're trying to get your legs going, and then you go and have a nap, and then get up and try to get yourself going. And it's tough. It's really tough. But I guess the important thing is there was one guy that was ready to go, in Stu Skinner. But the rest of the guys kind of held on. But it's a really tough turnaround. We did it 2 years in a back-to-back. We had to fly from Vancouver to San Jose, and both times we got pounded. And it was a brutal flight home. But at least, Edmonton to Calgary is a shorter flight.
Man, flying to San Jose like that's a bit of a haul,
brutal.
right?
It was brutal. It was brutal. These turnaround games are brutal. And I always thought there should have been a quick one, like a close game, like Edmonton, Calgary, or Vancouver, Seattle, like something easy, right? A quick turnaround. But the schedule maker didn't always feel that way.
Stuart Skinner in last night's game. And you know what? Frankly, both goaltenders were really good. I thought, an important game for Calgary, despite the fact that they lost, and that Jacob Markstrom really put out a solid effort against the Edmonton Oilers. And I think it's important. It was important at some point this season for Markstrom to do that. So if they face one another in the playoffs and Markstrom had not been able to have this game that he had, I think that's an issue for them. But he was really solid in this game. Stuart Skinner, excellent again. I'm going to give you some numbers here against the Calgary Flames. So the first game of the year, stopped 31 of 31 on in relief. Second game, 40 of 42 in a win. Last night, 46 out of 47 in a win. 117 of 120 Stuart Skinner stopped against the Calgary Flames this year. The Edmonton kid, Struddy, is biting into the Battle of Alberta.
Yeah, he's been excellent against. This first, let's call it half the season, where he's been incredible. Exceeded my expectations for sure. And in big moments like last night, his team needed him, right? They needed their goalie, to get him a win, and he did it. I think maybe the best save is the one that his friend made, the post with 2 seconds left. I mean, that's a breakdown defensively, but whatever. We're not going to beat the guys up, but it was just a huge plays by him. Some really calm save. But the other end, you're right about Markstrom. I don't think we can underestimate the value of that performance by Markstrom. Now, he didn't get a point. In fact, he didn't get anything. But he played very well, made some really key saves in key moments. There was one, Puljujärvi in the slot, doesn't quite get it up high enough, and Markstrom flashed the leather. McDavid, another one in the slot. Like, there were some big saves by Markstrom. Even though he wasn't really busy, he did have to make some important saves, and he did. So I really think this was, if I'm Markstrom, I strutted out of that rink last night feeling really good about myself, because it's been a mess every time I've played the Oilers. Well, not every time, but most of the time he's played against Oilers, it's been a mess.
To the point where he didn't get the start, earlier on in the year, and it was a bit of a story. So that was a demon he needed to slay, and I think it's fair to say Markstrom did. To the Weiss Johnson Soundbox, here's Stu Skinner on the Battle of Alberta.
I think it always will be. I mean, you grew up watching those games. Those are the most exciting games as a kid to watch, and being able to play in it is obviously a dream come true, and I'm looking forward to playing them hopefully a lot more.
Stuart Skinner and his media availabilities, he's so funny, Struds, because he, someone will ask him a question, and he's done this to me, like you'll say, listen, that was a really solid game for you. What do you think went well? And he'll go, thank you. Like, he actually just, thanks. Like, that was a nice thing for you to say to me. Thank you. Yeah. Then he was asked about the fact he's got a baby on the way, life's going well, new contract. Just, how good are things for Stuart Skinner right now? And I just thought I'd play this clip because it's kind of a feel-good clip coming out of the Christmas break.
And you try to live every day with as much gratitude as you can. I mean, we're all alive, so we all get a chance to, be happy and enjoy ourselves. And with my little buddy on the way, it's just a cherry on top. Very excited.
Local kid, plays great against the Flames, family man, baby on the way, talks about living life with gratitude. Like, talk about the early makings of an all-time fan favorite here, Struddy. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but like, this guy, holy smokes.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been very impressed with Stuart Skinner's away from the ice. Being a local player and the pressure and the attention that comes with that, it's a lot. It is a lot to deal with. And I know I couldn't have handled it at 23 or 24. Maybe the fact that he's married and has a child on the way, he's a lot more mature than I was at that age, in many ways. So it's a lot. And then to be what he is now, which is the starting goalie for the Oilers. Not all those things are so difficult. I think it's harder to be a starting goalie than it is to be a player. If you're gonna have an off night as a player, I mean, whatever, your partner can pick you up or the goalie helps you. But when you're a goalie, there's nowhere to hide. If you have a bad night, it's on you. You're wearing that thing. And so been very mature. He's like I said, he's exceeded every expectation I've had for him this year. And he's taken over the number one job. I will say it again, though. They're going to need Campbell. Campbell is going to be required for them to have a year this year. They got to find a way to get him going.
Well, he's going to get a game this weekend, right? Because they got back-to-backs coming up.
Yeah,
so they got Seattle in Seattle, then home against Winnipeg. So he's going to play somewhere there.
Yeah, but and they need, you're right. And I guess Skinner, he owns the net right now, but Campbell has got to get himself going. He needs to be figured out. And they're talking about the change of equipment. I get that. I mean, mid-season, I couldn't imagine someone changing my stick mid-season. And that's not my chest protector, as Speck was saying, or it's pads, but I think Gregor was saying that. Like that's such a huge change. The way the puck feels when it hits you, where it goes, comes off you when it hits you, like all those things. Even though the weight, the size, all that stuff, it must change so much. So the Oilers are so lucky that Skinner has figured this out and doing what he is. Because if he isn't, and Campbell's going through this, the Oilers are in honestly, they're probably in a lottery situation.
Yeah. Well, and for them to get that contract done with Skinner, like, if it keeps going the way it is this year, that's going to be a good contract. Like, that's going to look good by the end of the year. They'll be glad they have that done. I'm sure they already are. Okay, a tale of two games was painted by the two head coaches. Jay Woodcroft suggesting the Calgary Flames and their shot volume is a bit of a mirage. Daryl Sutter suggesting that I'm going to let you hear from both of them. But I want to ask you, Struds, what is reality? So we're going to go back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox here. And we will remind you, if you're a business owner, Weiss Johnson provides a wide range of services, commercial rooftop unit replacements and servicing, as well as plumbing, HVAC, tenant improvements. If you want to set up a regular service and maintenance contract, you can give them a shout, and they will come out and they will give you a quote, 780-463-3096. Okay, back to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Here is Jay Woodcroft. He was actually asked a question about Stuart Skinner, and here is what he sort of meandered into the shot volume that the Flames had.
Their game plan is, not so much crowd the net, but they'll shoot from the center ice line just to, bump up their shot volume metrics or whatever it is. But it's meant to kind of put you on the back foot and spend a little bit more time in the zone. If you actually look at the chance quality, we had some really good chances. Their goaltender made some saves on, but we don't win the game unless Stuart turns in the effort that he did tonight. And
now here's Daryl Sutter.
A close game, a lot of missed opportunities on our part. Probably didn't look, but probably 5-5. I think we outplayed them, just didn't score.
Okay. So a couple of stats here for you, Struds. Final shots on net, 47-22. Shot attempts, 80-26 for the Flames. Corsi 4, shot attempts, 43-16. No, I have that one wrong. Chances for. That's chances for. This is according to Natural Stat Trick, 43-16. High danger chances, 16-6. Now, I don't love Natural Stat Trick's chances always. They tend to be a little bit less accurate, and I don't have Sport Logics, but basically the ice was extremely tilted in this game. And Jay Woodcroft likes to paint the picture when this happens at times that they're shot volume teams that shoot from everywhere, and it wasn't as bad as it looks. It's not as bad as what it looked like on the page. What did you see last night?
I thought the Flames carried the play, for the most of the game. I thought they spent quite a bit of time in the Oilers' end. I will comment on the shot volume. I think that if your goal is just to get pucks to the net, I think a lot of times you're giving up possession or making a play that's not there just to get the puck to the net. I liked it when guys would shoot from bad places, because I'm like, oh, you just gave the puck away. Now we have a chance of getting it back.
Yep.
What I didn't like was when players held on to it and tried to move towards a better place to get a shot or a better pass to make a shot, right? So you're holding the puck, holding it, and now you're wearing the other team down in the offensive zone. Now, they spent quite a bit of time in the Oilers' zone, but I didn't think the quality of shots was extremely high. That being said, they definitely outchanced the Oilers. There is no doubt about it. They had way more chances than the Oilers did. The Oilers, I know Natural Stat Trick is maybe a little off, but it paints somewhat of a picture, and there's somewhat, about where they're at. And the Oilers, for whatever reason, their game plan was to get it every time they got it, and they'd flip it down the ice. I don't know how many icings they had. It had to be 10 or 12. Like there was a lot of icings. If not, they were just throwing it out and just going to get it. So they felt they were under pressure as well. You do that when you're feeling pressure. Now, I doubt that coach would say, hey, just flip it out every time you get it. I think they felt the pressure. They were trying to get it out of their zone. And it was mostly the D-men doing it.
Yeah, and to be clear, Natural Stat Trick is a great site. They got lots of really good stuff. I just think they scrape their chances data more from where the shots come from, as opposed to, eyeballs on it saying, was that a chance or wasn't that a chance? But 80 to 26, the shot attempts, I think that paints a picture of a pretty tilted ice surface. The head coach maybe pushed back a little on that idea that it wasn't quite when you look at the quality, but I thought the Oilers were chasing that game a ton. Calgary carried a big bulk of the play. Oilers got a great goaltending performance, some help from the posts. Like the posts alone swung that game in a big way last night. But full marks to Stuart Skinner. Yeah.
To be fair, the Oilers had a few posts as well. You know what I mean? Like, this to me was a game that the Oilers goaltender won in the game. The Oilers could have scored a little bit more, probably, but Calgary could have won the game equally. I love talking about a low-scoring game where you really lock it down. The Oilers didn't lock it down. Stuart Skinner locked it down. And I think that there has to be a difference made, because I would have loved to see the Oilers win this 2-1, and the shots were like 20-20, and chances were very low, but it wasn't the case. So I'm not skipping out of. I'm happy that I'm leaving with 2 points if I'm Edmonton, but I'm not thrilled with the way we played. But to be fair, coming out of the break, getting 2 points on the road against a goalie that kind of found his mojo against you, I'd be pretty happy. Knowing I got to be a lot better. I got to be a lot better. What is it? Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah. And I think that's my point here. And listen, I don't expect Jay Woodcroft to stand in front of us and give us the absolute 100% pure as the driven snow truth about what went on out there. He's got to shape his narratives a little bit, and that's all coaches do it. So there's the two things at play. Were you outplayed? Were you dominated at times, and did you sneak through? Did you get a great performance from your goalie, and you're a little loose at times with the amount that you gave up, but your guys were grinding, tough travel day, you're happy, you'll take the points and run. I think that's reality. And he paints more of a picture of, it was a little bit closer and the shot attempts are maybe a little deceiving, and that's the way they play. And, but I think he's probably got a pretty realistic view of what actually went down last night. I just think when he gets up there, you shape it a certain way. Connor McDavid, 16 games, the streak is at 32 points, 15-17. He's got a 10-point lead on Leon Draisaitl, 16-point lead on anyone not an Oiler. Tage Thompson is in third, by the way. He's on pace for 70 goals and 84 assists for 154 points. I mean, I'm not sure what more we can say about this, but on what was otherwise a quiet night for him, all he did was step in and score a massive goal and snipe, from the slot there, and then talk after the game about how he didn't think he played great. Like, this guy's just on a different planet.
Yeah, I'd agree with him, actually. I would agree. And I mean, the standard is high for him, right? So it's a bit unfair, but when you set such a high standard for yourself, we're going to hold you to that level. And I thought Connor struggled last night. I thought Leon was struggling. I thought Nugent's line was had a very tough night. But to be honest, you got to give Flames some credit. They weren't giving him a lot of space, right? Like, they were playing them tight. The D-men like Weegar and Tanev, I thought they had a pretty good game. Like, they were. What I find when Connor and Leon struggle is when they don't allow those guys time and space on the defensive side of the red line, right? So that means they're picking them up early. They're in front of them, kind of getting in their way and making it hard for Connor and Leon to get speed up the neutral zone. And if you look at the first goal last night, Leon gets the puck, gives it to Fogle in the middle, and Fogle goes flying up the ice, and he's like, "Holy geez, I got all this room," but because they were on top of Leon. Now, to be fair, Fogle kind of throws it in the corner, and then eventually it goes to the point and Barry scores. But like, the point's made that they were taking away the big guys, and I thought they had a good game plan. Like, I thought, I give Flames credit; they did a really good job against those guys. It's hard. Like, other teams trying to stop you as well. But in the moment where they needed Connor to score, he scored. And that's what your killer does, right? When they need a goal, here's the puck, buddy, go and get it done. He did it, shot it as the goalie was coming across, shot it back from where he was. Just a beautiful goal, post in. Like, I love it. But that's what your killer does. He finds a way to kill the other team when in a tight game.
On pace for 70 goals.
Yeah,
that
crazy.
would be absolutely something. I question whether he'd get 50 this year. I look like an idiot. McDavid, unreal. He's just elevated his goal scoring to an entirely different level. Okay, in our next segment, we are going to discuss MacKenzie Weegar's hit on Connor McDavid. We'll give you a little teaser so you stick around. I'm not sure, Struds, you and I have not talked about this yet. In 2 to 3 words, Struds, your thoughts on the Oilers' response to that.
What do you expect?
Very good. Not good enough would be from me. So we're going to dive into that in our takeaway segment. This was the breakdown brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Lots to come here on the pod, folks. Stick around. Joined now by Sterling Dirk, right inside the beautiful store over at Mr. Dirk. Sterling, time for a little rapid fire. You up for it?
I'm ready. Here we go.
All right, true or false? You took on title sponsorship of this podcast for the sole purpose of fixing Jason Strudwick's mess.
True. His wife came begging for help.
It's going to be a long, beautiful relationship. It's going to take us a while, pal. All right, true or false? If someone's frustrated looking at their wardrobe, doesn't like their options, it's immediately $1,500 to make any change.
False. You start with one item, you build it up. It's like anything in life. You just need to kind of start placing those pieces and then adding more and more, but it doesn't need to happen all at once.
True or false? Suits are the main thing that Mr. Dirk offers.
False. Actually, we carry a wide array of product from jeans, shoes, socks, underwear, t-shirts, casual wear. I mean, we specialize in tailoring, but we are head to toe for all of our clients from weekend to regular everyday office.
Great stuff. Check out the shop just off White Avenue at 102nd Street. And for all their stock, visit them online, mrdirk.com. Thanks, Sterling. I'll see you soon, buddy. I'm due.
We'll see you soon.
Hey, Struddy, question for you. Have you ever tried putting in your own fence?
I sure have. Between digging the posts, mixing up cement and digging the holes, it's absolute killer.
It's brutal on the back. Well, listen, what if I told you you could put in a fence without having to dig a hole or mix any concrete?
I'd be much more likely to come over and help you out.
Yeah, well, you're not the first guy I would call, but thank you for that. Listen, my brother's company, DLR Vinyl Products, they've come up with a system where you can actually put high-quality vinyl fence in the ground without having to dig a hole, without having to mix any concrete. They can teach do-it-yourselfers how to do it, and they can also work with contractors who might be looking to start installing vinyl. It's super high-quality product. The great thing about it is that it has fantastic longevity. You put it in, you don't have to worry about staining or sanding or anything like that. I've been lucky enough, Struddy. They put in multiple fences in my different yards and they built me 3 decks. I have totally abused the fact that my family is in the fencing and decking business, but it's great product. Give Rob a call in Calgary or Rick a call here in Edmonton. This is a company my dad started. It's a family business. I'm super proud of it. That's DLR Vinyl Products in Edmonton and Calgary. Time now for takeaways, brought to you by Sherwood Buick GMC, just off Baseline Road on the way into Sherwood Park. They are the #1 GMC dealership in all of Canada for 5 years running. They are a massive dealership. And have you seen the all-new redesigned Sierra 1500? It's a fantastic truck. I have one. It's got a wide variety of trims available. The Denali Ultimate, regarded as the most advanced and luxurious in its class. Sherwood Buick GMC also has inventory. A lot of places struggling with that, but they can actually get their hands on a vehicle quickly for you. And they got a ton of great used vehicles as well. One of the biggest inventories in the city. Visit SherwoodBuickGMC.com. Okay, MacKenzie Weegar, his hit on Connor McDavid. The referees did not call a penalty. The Oilers, to my eye, Struds, did not respond in any way, shape, or form. Now, I want to be clear. Sometimes there's things that we might not know about as we're sitting at home in our cozy living rooms watching on television. I text somebody who was in the rink, and I said, am I missing something? Are they jawing with Weegar during the commercial breaks? Are there things going on behind the play that I can't see? Are the Oilers at least acknowledging that this happened in some way that us television viewers might not notice? And the answer I got back was 0. So to our eye and to an eye inside the building that I trust, absolutely no response from the Edmonton Oilers to that hit from MacKenzie Weegar. What did you think of the hit, Struds? And then what about the response or lack of?
Yeah, so I mean, Weegar is closing in on Connor McDavid, and Connor is going to his left, and then he quickly turns back, as he does better than anyone else in the league. Turns back to the right, so he goes from inside to outside, and Weegar kind of readjusts himself, and his left leg catches Connor's right leg, and it was knee to knee. There's no doubt about it. I felt it should have been a penalty. You know, I thought, oh, here we go. The Oilers on the power play. I could not believe that it wasn't a power play. For the Edmonton Oilers. So that was a big miss by the linesman, because I don't like knee. I two things I can't stand: knee to knee hits, and then anyone having trouble with their flights when they're 6th overall pick. Those two things really bother me. But as far as a response, Schauger, I don't think there should have been a response. You're trying to get the win. What are you going to do? What do you expect? What do you want the guys to go in there and just say, hey, we don't like what you did. Like, let's push you around a little bit. And then nothing's solved. Like nothing changes. So I just don't think. So
you don't think that any response is required when
really.
One of their defensemen takes out the knee of your captain and most important player on a suspect hit that you could easily argue was not clean? You think that there's absolutely no message that needs to be sent in any way, shape, or form?
So what do you want? Like, so I'm guessing it was Puljujarvi and Hyman out there, and then let's say it's Nurse and Cece. What are you going to break the play and skate over and say, "Hey, we didn't like what you did. We don't like that, man." And like nothing's going to be solved. Nothing's going to be solved at all. Like I saw the outrage on Twitter. I saw people losing their minds, but it's not that easy. You just you're just going to go up and drop the gloves. Don't let him have a choice. Oh, there is a choice. You know what he'll do? He'll skate away. That's what I would do. I'd just skate away. Okay. You don't like that? Okay, no problem. Well, don't give him a choice. Start punching him. Okay, that sounds good. Now you get on a penalty kill, which hasn't been good, and you get scored on, and that's a turning point in the game. So I just, what do you expect? Wow. What do you want these guys to do? I've been in that situation thousands of times.
I'm surprised by this, man. I have to say I'm surprised by this, and I deeply respect your opinion because you played the game this way.
Yeah.
But what I would suggest is that is business as a team you can't leave unattended. You cannot allow a player to take out your captain, Connor McDavid's knee, and not have to feel uncomfortable for even a remote second the rest of the game. That is a free pass to just take absolute runs at the guy with absolutely no consequence whatsoever. Now, I'm not suggesting somebody needed to like ignore the rush back up ice and throw their gloves off and go jump them and take a suspension. But like, shouldn't the rest of his night be maybe a little bit uncomfortable? MacKenzie Weegar was hit one time in that hockey game last night by Jesse Puljujarvi. One time. I looked through the whole entire game log. He took one hit. So yeah, the play went back up the other way. When the whistle went, was he still on the ice? When he was on the ice the next time, anybody say anything to him? The next whistle that happened in front of his net, anybody go get in his face? Anybody go challenge him to a fight? Anybody send any sort of message whatsoever? There should have been scrums. There should have been guys getting in his grill. He should have been made to feel in some way, shape, or form kind of uncomfortable. Maybe now you got to be a little bit harder on Huberdeau. Maybe now you got to send the message that, no, you don't run our best player and get a free pass to tiptoe through the tulips the rest of the night like it didn't even happen. Good teams take care of this business, Struds. You cannot leave this type of business unattended. It's not about fighting. It's about competitiveness. The next time MacKenzie Weegar's on the ice, I don't care who you are on that team, you find a way to get a body on him. He got hit once in that game. Completely unacceptable to me, Struds, and a sign that this team is not taking care of its business and not thinking about it competitively enough.
Okay, yeah. So like, if you're talking about afterwards, that's no problem. I was talking about in the moment. In the moment.
Well, I mean, the rush went back up ice. Like you gotta deal with the play.
In the
what
moment,
about the rest of the night?
Yeah, in the rest of the night, you can try to get after him, but what are you gonna walk over and talk to him? Hey, man, you can't do that. Oh, okay, all right, okay, good. Then you push him around like, who's the guy? Who's the guy that's gonna do that?
And that's a fair discussion. Who's the guy? So I'll answer that question. This is MacKenzie Weegar we're talking about.
I know.
This is not Richie or Lucic, right? So if you're Warren Fogle, if you're Dylan Holloway, if you're Brett Kulak, if you're Darnell Nurse, if you can run through anybody not named Leon Draisaitl and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and say, why wouldn't you feel like that's part of your responsibility? Why do you think you don't need to worry about that stuff? When your captain gets his knee taken out like that, it immediately becomes everybody's responsibility to do their part in providing a response. And when your team does not respond in any way, you're not competitive enough and you're not functioning properly as a team.
Yeah. So if Vander Kane's out there, I'm sure something's said.
Of course. But can you imagine? Imagine what he would have been thinking watching that game.
Yeah, so imagine have Fogle, Yamamoto,
doesn't matter,
Holloway, Ryan, have any of them ever shown you any inclination to do that? Not once.
No.
Nurse, yes, but it's very hard for 2D to hook up. Trust me.
Fair enough.
It's very, very hard for a D-man to get on to another D-man, right? So the Oilers don't have that in them. Now, I agree. After, I thought you were talking about, well, I was talking about the initial moment. It's very hard to make something happen. But afterwards, yeah, you can skate by him and give him something. But he's like, hey, man, do you want to fight? No, I don't want to fight. Okay, sounds good. I'm going to drop my gloves. Okay, you just got 2 minutes and I want to score on the power play. Like, it's not.
But Struds, there's ways to do it. When the whistle goes, someone gets in his face and you clearly challenge him. The whole building knows you've challenged the guy that took your captain and you force him to turn you down. You force him to say, no, I'm not doing it.
That's what he says. He goes, yep, no, I'm good. Right. And he skates away. Moment.
Right.
Okay.
So then when you get an opportunity, on their better players, you're finishing every check, you're sending messages, you're telling their bench.
Yeah.
If you mess with our guy, your night's uncomfortable. It's team toughness. I get it. At the end of the day, like, what's the net result for MacKenzie Weegar going to be? It's not like you're going to scare him out of the game or whatever. But when you do nothing as a group, when you do nothing, how are you sitting there on the bench just looking at each other like, I guess teams just get to do that to him. And well, he's not hurt. I just don't think you can function that way. And listen, Zach Kassian would have done something. Evander Kane would have done something.
Zach Kassian would have done anything.
Kassian would have, Struds. No. I'll disagree with you there. He would have.
When have we seen the last time he did anything? I'll tell you when he got run by Tkachuk. He wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah,
I don't think he would have done anything.
Yeah, I'll respectfully disagree. I think Kassian would understand there's a few moments during a season that for him you have to show up, and Connor McDavid taking a knee is one of them. I know what you're saying. His overall effectiveness that way we can get into, but I think with all
due respect to Zach Kassian, but the last year in Edmonton, he did nothing. Yeah. And so the problem here's the truth. This is where it is. The Oilers are reacting to someone else hitting their top players. When's the last time we've seen the Oilers make life uncomfortable for other teams' top players?
Yeah, they don't function that way as a group. It's not part of their makeup.
We've never seen it. So now you're asking them to do something that is not in their DNA. The guy who does it is Evander Kane. He's on the sideline skating by himself. So the Oilers don't do that. They don't make life uncomfortable for the other team. So when their best player gets hit, who do you want to go in there? Warren Fogle? Warren Fogle, what is he? He's a nice guy. That's it. He's a Johnny good guy, right? CC and Fogle are big enough and strong enough to do all the things you're talking about. They are not wired that way. They are not wired that way.
Yeah.
You just got to accept it. It's like, okay, here we go. Whatever. We'll just kind of hope it doesn't happen again. Like that's the way the team is functioning, man.
So you're asking guys to do something that doesn't come naturally to them. Maybe that's unfair. I think it's everybody's responsibility in that moment to take their share of the uncomfortable stuff. But okay, let's have the discussion. So not fair for them. So now you look at management and you say, how do you have a team that's constructed in a way where McDavid could get his knees taken out and nothing gets done? And you can say, well, Evander Kane's not there. He would have done something. So it's just about injuries right now. Connor McDavid, the team owes Connor McDavid players that will handle this sort of business. He needs to have players around him on a given night that when that happens to him, there will be a response. If you have the best player in the world on your roster, you have a responsibility to put players out there that can handle the tough business when things get tough, because you need to protect that player at all costs. You don't think that it's going to be talked about around the league today? Did you see McDavid get his knees taken out? Oh, what happened? Nothing happened.
Maybe,
You don't think that teams will notice that and that is talked about this group?
Maybe. I mean, let's go through the teams. Who are the tough teams in the NHL? Right? I guess Philly, Calgary's pretty tough. Is Vancouver like?
But it's not about goons. It's about response in a moment. It's not about brawls and scraps. The Oilers want no part of a full out brawl against the Flames. They'll get destroyed. Right. I mean, no disrespect to them. Look at the Flames. They're brawlers. I'm not saying that someone needs to go fight Lucic or that you need to go in.
Right.
But you deal with the guy that took out your captain's knee. You have you find it in you to go and deal with that.
So how does it change Weaver's behavior if you go over and you challenge him and he doesn't take the fight? Do you think all of a sudden it just sends him like, what message are you sending? Hey man, do you want to fight?
You go to the body on him all night. You make the rest of his night tough. Yeah. You hit him hard. Every chance you get as a team, you recognize that guy took a run at our guy. He's not willing to answer the bell. We're going to make his night tough. They did nothing to make his night more difficult that I could see. And I think that's an issue of competitiveness.
Yeah. I mean, the other flip side of it, they got the 2 points and they got out of there, right? I'm telling you right now, if there's a moment there where they go after Weegar, they get a power play and they get scored on, and then they lose the game. So who wins, right? Weegar wins. So, maybe the Oilers need to add some more of that. Not maybe. I think they need some more of that to them. But I don't know who does it. I don't think there's anyone in the Oilers who does it. There's not one forward that's wired to do what you're talking about. Not one.
Right.
Actually, you know who does? Probably Leon. Leon's probably the guy. He's the one. When he gets hit, he gets pissed off. But how many times have you seen an Oilers player get hit and then be upset?
Yeah.
Like Dylan Holloway Fogle gets run by Lucic. By Lucic. His response, he goes and pushes Lucic. Now, Lucic is a big, scary guy. But Fogel's a pretty big guy, too. You know what?
He finished a check on him. I'll stick up for him a little bit. He had a chance. He finished a check on Lucic like 5 seconds later when the puck came back around.
It was a push.
He hit him.
That wasn't a hit. That was, I've pushed my 9-year-old harder in the pool than Fogle pushed Lucic. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me, sir. So, and I'm not picking on Fogle here, but how could he not get pissed off that you're getting hit? So if you're not mad that you're getting hit, why should you be mad that someone else is getting hit? They're not wired that way. Just go through the lineup. Like, show me the guy. Show me the guy that's upset. Janmark, Koskin, Holloway, Fogle, Hyman. Actually, Hyman does. Hyman does do it. He is the guy. I remember Pavelski against Dallas ran, was it Connor or Leon? And he took a longest run, just hammered him. Boom. That was it.
And then Jamie Benn got in his grill, and it wasn't a great look. You wanted no part of Jamie Benn there.
I understand what you're saying, man, but the Oilers aren't built that way.
Do you think it matters that they should be? Do you think it matters that they didn't take care of that business? Or do you think I'm making a big deal out of something that's like, that's old-timey hockey? It doesn't matter in the big picture. I think this matters in the big picture. I think it shows a lack of competitiveness, and I think that's a problem long-term.
Yeah. I think in the moment, it'd be a mistake to address it because nothing's going to be solved. And now if you want to go after them later, no problem. But there's no one to go after.
Do you think it's a problem that they didn't? Do you think it's a problem that they didn't do anything after the fact? Or didn't
I think after the fact, he should have been at least talked to. But like, I just don't understand what people want. Like, I guess this is my bigger frustration, Shogger. You go up to him, do you want to fight? No, I don't want to fight. Okay. Then people say, well, don't give him a choice. Don't give him a choice. So I've been in that situation. Hey, man, we got to fight. We got to fight. Oh, we don't want to fight. Okay. I'll drop my gloves. Oh, you just got 2 minutes. Now we score on the power play. Now we lose the game. I look like the heel. Oh, to do what? To show the guy that we're business? Like this is a reality. The Oilers need to be in the business of being proactive and running people early in the game. Get after their top players. When you're reacting, you're just feeding off of what they're doing to you. And that's the fundamental problem with this group. When Kane is in there, the team is completely different because he is challenging guys left and right, not so much with fighting, but the way he hits. Like, think about last year in Kadri. When he hit Kadri in the playoffs, he hammered him into the boards, zero remorse, lights up a cigarette back on the way to the penalty box, or I guess he was kicked out. He does not care. He is unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do. That is an element the Oilers do not have, and quite frankly, none of the teams have. So what are you going to do? Warren Fogle? Hey, man, do you want to fight? I don't fight much, but maybe we could do this and look good. Like it just it's not that easy to do it. So I don't know.
I don't think it's
it makes
easy
a
to do,
difference.
Struds. I don't think it's easy to do. And you know what? To the point about if you go up to MacKenzie Weegar after that and you get in his face and you glove wash him, you push him, even if you want to drop your gloves and take 2 minutes, kill that penalty. You're defending Connor McDavid. Kill that penalty as a team. We're not sitting here talking today about, can you believe Warren Foegele jumped Weegar like that and put his team down on a power play? Can you believe how irresponsible and silly that was? We'd be saying, hey, I mean, no choice, right? Guy threw a knee at McDavid, nearly put him out of the game. Like it was dangerous. Of course you're going to respond. You got to, as a team, you got to kill that penalty. You got to kill that penalty as a team. There's no way that there's criticism from the coach or from anybody if somebody takes it upon themselves to send a message, we're not as a team going to put up with that. That is the one spot you don't go with this group because it doesn't matter. There will be a response to that. Now, is this team positioned to respond with great gravitas? No, but zero response is unacceptable to me in that situation. So whether you have the ability to make it a great response or not, kill that penalty all day long. The Oilers need a player that can take care of this business. They do. They need someone among their forward ranks. Doesn't need to be a big heavyweight that can't play, but they need someone who's wired in a way to understand that doesn't go unchecked.
Yeah, they have him. He's Evander Kane, and he's out right now. Like
they need another one then.
So I text some buddies. I said, they got to get a fighter on the fourth line. Great. That's what other teams want. They want that because that guy can't play. That big guy skates out there. I don't like what you did, MacKenzie Weegar. Do you want to fight? No, I don't. Okay, thank you. Thanks for the shift. I'll see you later. That's it. It does nothing. It does nothing.
But you know that's not what I'm suggesting. You know that I'm not saying that's what the answer is.
Yeah, so then you drop your gloves and you fight, and he doesn't want to fight. He skates away. You look like a donkey. Like I've done that before. You do.
Do you look like a donkey if you went at 100%. MacKenzie Weegar after he made that play and he decided he wasn't going to answer the bell and fight in the moment and he wasn't going to do anything? And you think your teammates are looking at you like, man, what'd you do that for?
No, they're like,
there's a net gain for the group, Struds. There's a net gain.
But
you're sitting on the bench and you see that happen and you go, yep, that's the way we need to respond when these things happen. Yeah. So you get the uptick of...
We drop our gloves and he doesn't respond. He doesn't fight. And I get a penalty. I go to the box and they score on me and I come back like, oh, good. What'd you accomplish? Actually, I didn't really accomplish much, but Weegar now knows we're upset about that. It's been duly noted. He said duly noted is what he told me. It doesn't do anything.
What if you're sitting on the bench and a forward goes in on a forecheck and drills him and finishes a check? Right? What if that happens 2, 3, 4, 5 times the rest of the night and you scrum up at the end when there's a whistle and you get in his face, you challenge him, you clearly make him run from you.
Sure.
There's a way to handle it as a group so that as a group, yep, we got this. We got this. Now, the other possibility is that Connor McDavid said, I'm fine. Guys, leave it. Maybe. We don't know that.
No.
But even then, you would say, sorry, Cap, we got to deal with this.
Yeah. So you're on. If you want to run him, I'm all for the running. 100%.
That's what I'm saying, man.
But if you're going in there, excuse me, sir, we didn't like what you did. Duly noted. I'll make a note in my diary tonight. No more knee on knees. Thank you. That doesn't do anything. The scrums. All right. I love the scrum. Nothing happened. I knew in a scrum nothing was really going to happen. Yeah. I didn't want to get run, but so the Oilers, they got to find a way to if you want. But they weren't physical all night. It wasn't a physical game. I didn't think it was very physical. So also you're going to turn it on. You have your belly full of Christmas turkey and you're going to start running guys with players that don't generally run. Like, who is the most physical winger the Oilers have? Harvey, probably.
I hear you.
Does he ever do any bad intention?
Maybe Costin. Like, if you're clean Costin, that's a great opportunity for Costin last night. That's a great opportunity for him to endear himself to his teammates, his fan base, and to do something that's not comfortable. Like, how you don't have any third and fourth line players who are wired to see that opportunity and be like, yep, I'm going to make my mark here. I'm guaranteeing my spot in the lineup for the next month because I'm going to go help Cap out. They don't have anybody wired that way.
Not by
running
talking or
doing whatever. Struds, get in his face, challenge him to a fight, see if you can get him to go. If you can't, run him, get in other people's faces. Like,
why is he going? Why is he fighting? Hey, he's not going to fight. He is not going to fight. maybe 20 years ago, maybe, but he's not going to fight. Everyone on
So
Twitter.
is it not worth even asking then? Is it not worth even asking? Is it not worth making it clear that you're standing in front of him, challenging him, you're ready to go, and you force him to, skate away?
Yeah. I don't want to fight. Okay, good. Good. Yeah. That's good to know. Okay. Like people like everyone on Twitter, let me tell you this right now. You can ask people to fight. You can drop your gloves, but you know what people do now? They skate away. There are less fight. There are no fights now. There's no fighting like that. So you can say, well, don't give him a choice. Don't give him a choice. Well, you drop your gloves. What is he going to do?
I didn't say that.
Take the power play. It's not going to happen.
I didn't say don't give him a choice. I know that's not something you can do. Yes, there's a lot of that on Twitter. People
just don't give him a choice. Don't give him a choice.
They want a guy to just drop his gloves and start wailing away. Listen, if somebody did, I would think, okay, well, that's what happens when you run Connor McDavid, and the player will get what he deserves for doing that, for dropping his gloves, and you're fine. Right. But I would be fine with it if someone did that, right? I would be fine with it if someone did that. I would think, well, yeah, you run McDavid, that's what happens, right?
It's
and if the player got 5 in a game, fine, whatever. You kill that penalty, you do the best you can. It's more important to handle the business than it is to worry about a penalty.
Meaningless gesture. Going in there and dropping your gloves and pretending you're going to fight some guy. It's meaningless. Yeah. There doesn't do anything. Nothing.
Okay, we got to get the voice of the fan. Zuby, are you hanging around? We got to get the voice of the fan in here on this because there was so much action on Twitter last night. So you tell us, voice of the fan, what did you think about the response last night in the discussion here?
Well, I'm a pretty level-headed fan. I'm not one of those wild. I don't swing too crazy, but I wanted to see a response. I certainly wanted to see a response. My first thought too was with the lack of responses, man, it's going to make a huge difference to have a Vander Kane back. So, right along the lines of what you guys are talking about, to me, Skinner, let me ask you a question. If the arm goes up on the hit and Weegar's getting a penalty, would that possibly change the response at all of the guys saying, okay, well, I'm going to go we'll even it up. I'll forego the power play. Yeah. Now I'm going to go hit this. When the whistle blows to stop that play, somebody goes after him. Would that make a difference at all in your mind?
I think you take the power play. I honestly, how that wasn't a penalty, I don't no idea. That had to be, but I don't think so. You're like, okay, we're on the power play. Let's kick him in the nuts to get the win and get out of here.
Yeah, I wanted to see something. I thought Puljujarvi, if he wants to stay on Connor's wing, I think he could have gone and given him a shot. And I like what Ryan.
He's the one player that hit him, by the way. The one hit that MacKenzie Weegar was forced to endure in that, I'm not even going to call it the Battle of Alberta, that competitive event between two teams from Alberta. Puljujarvi was the one guy that hit MacKenzie Weegar. Like, I just, the lack of at least trying to make a guy's night difficult. That's, whether anyone's willing to jump him in the moment or whether anyone's going to square up with him and whatever. But like, you can make a guy's night difficult. You can do that. You can finish every check on a guy where he gets the sense like, the Oilers have the ability to do that. They have fast enough skaters and guys that know how to hit. They didn't even do that, you guys.
Yeah, and maybe a guy like Weegar would kind of thrive on that too. I'm sure there's guys who would embrace that and say, "Bring it on! You're not hurting me. You're gonna take a penalty on me eventually." And it was a close game, and with the Flames dominating largely the run of the play. I'm sure that's exactly what Struds is talking about. Any advantage you give them, any power play you give them, then you're asking for it.
Yeah. All right, Struddy. I feel like you went a little soft over Christmas, bud. I'm not sure, man. I'm a little surprised that you're indifferent towards the Oilers' response. You are indifferent towards their lack of response here. That's fair. Hey, Zuby, he's indifferent.
I don't know about indifferent. I feel like he's steadfast in his indifference.
I've been in this situation, and when you're reacting, you never get your pound of flesh, and usually it ends up costing your team. So, you can do a heroic act and show that, well, look at me. I'm standing up for our captain. And that to me in the moment with scrums or a challenge to the fight and where it's duly noted by MacKenzie Weegar, like the only way to truly get him back is by punishing him. And the Oilers aren't built like that. There's one guy that does it and he's on the sidelines. So I just, I don't know what you expect. You're expecting, you're trying to make lemonade out of oranges. Like it's not there, right? And I don't know. I think they won the moment by winning the game.
Look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard, guys.
Well, what are you going to do? Like, I truly, and so we can have the conversation about needing more grit in their lineup. And I think that's fair. And I've said this before, players need to get out of their comfort zone and play with more grit. But I just don't see, I don't know who the guy is. I just don't know who's showing us glimpses of that up front. There's been very few. Yeah. And his line was getting just waterboarded last night, so they actually couldn't play him. They were probably the Oilers' weakest line last night, and they've been the Oilers' strongest, right? So,
all right, good discussion. Really good discussion. And Struds, you have played this role before. You've done it against the biggest, toughest players in the world. So 100,000% respect for your opinion on this. You get the way it works out there. Interesting. Fans are really polarized on this too on Twitter. Lots of noise on Twitter in my feed about whether they should have or shouldn't have. And you know what? It's not even something we can really ask them because you're not going to get honest answers, right? We can't ask Jay Woodcroft this. Coaches have to be really careful about what they say. They can't be suggesting that their players needed to respond or anything like that because if anything happens down the line and something happens to Weegar, like coaches are very careful about all this stuff. So I don't think we're ever going to really truly know how they feel internally about what happened. I know how I think they should feel. Sure. But we'll see, right? We'll see if it's, if there's an effect that we notice over time here with the way McDavid is played against.
Just one quick comment. If Oilers fans want to be worried about anything, I'd be worried about the fact that Markstrom had a really good game against the Oilers. And when they go into the playoffs and they're going to have to beat the Flames, that would be my biggest takeaway. Because you know what? He now has rid himself of the kryptonite that was the Oilers. That would be what I'd be losing sleep over.
Enter Stuart Skinner. 117 saves on 120 shots against the Calgary Flames. I hope we get to see it again this year because it was great to watch last year. And, maybe we'll actually see some hitting in a playoff series between these two teams because she was a no-hitter last night. Okay, we are overtime. Thanks, boys. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Nice to check in. Oilers in action Friday against the Kraken on the road, then Saturday against the Jets. And we'll have more podcasts coming your way. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your downloads and your subs. We appreciate it. Hope you had a fantastic holiday season. Thanks to our sponsors, Mr. Dirk, DLR Vinyl, Sherwood Buick GMC, and Weiss Johnson as well. We'll catch you soon, folks. Cheers.